right? That
one's not even the same shape.
No, you see, Emma, you have to believe.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
If you squint and turn your head to the left and believe really hard,
You cross your eyes, you think of Jesus, and it all makes sense. Hello lovely people, my name is Emma, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. Today I bring you the gift of something entirely ridiculous. We are looking at Roger of Mudfossil University. If you're not familiar with his work, and this was my first time looking at his channel, essentially he believes rocks are fossils, especially ones that look a bit like things. I was joined for this amazingly ridiculous nonsense, I don't even know what to call it, by my friend Willow the Wendigo. She is super lovely, she has a great channel, so go and check it out for more mud fossil reactions from us, and go and subscribe and give her some love. I hope you enjoy this absolute nonsense. I think you will. I had a really good time filming this. Please enjoy the rocks. Enjoy the rocks.
This right here is just a piece of stone. They see them all the time, these squares, and they have no idea where they came from.
Okay, so first, he is off to a really good start.
It's just a piece of stone?
It is, in fact, just a piece of stone.
Do you know what? I love that as a parody idea. Just do Mudfossil University, but don't do any of the weird assumptions. Just be like, this is a piece of stone.
And then the video ends.
And that's it.
Guess what? That was a bone at one time. And guess what else? This was like a layer of like leather or skin. The same with this side. This is what's called feldspar. Everything you see here was coated with feldspar, except this. This was broken and into the fleshy area. But all of these are membranes. Membranes are made of collagen. Collagen, there's 28 types of collagen, and they're flexible.
Did he say feldspar? What's because feldspar is a... When I hear feldspar, I think of a character from a video game, Outer Wilds. I don't know what that is in the science world.
But it didn't take long for him to go downhill.
And I got this is unrelated to the science of rocks, right? But because this is my first foray into this guy's channel, I love that he gestures with a feather.
It's his magic wand.
It's cute. It's kind of cute. I feel like this is like the crazy old wizard that lives down your road in the village, you know, and you don't take anything he says seriously, but he seems kind of sweet, kind of harmless.
And they happen to have an affinity to bond with aluminum silicates. All feldspar is aluminum silicates with some additional chemistry, but it's 100% is aluminum silicates. Now, what do you see right there? This is the skin. I just told you, the skin of the... What's right below the skin is...
See, I was going to say rock. What do you see?
It's still a piece of stone. I'm looking for the skin. I'm not... I don't understand what kind of... How is the skin survived? How is the skin turned into part of a rock that he can identify? I don't understand.
It looks like rock. I was going to go rock, but I think he has some type of sense that he can tell it's not rock.
It's a sixth sense for skin.
Well, it's a Roger sense. It's a mud fossil sense.
Layer that's called interstitium. It's red and bloody. And then below that, you can have your fibrous muscle tissue and connective tissues, and that turns to basalt. This did not, and I will show you in the microscope. This, again, you see that right there? That is just like the layer of skin that's on your body, only this was a bigger creature. And the same stuff is on here, this feldspar. This is a bone.
I don't understand how the skin has survived. I don't understand why the skin hasn't decomposed. Why did it turn into rock? I feel like I'm missing a fundamental piece of mud fossils, like, lore. Like, the physics of his universe, I don't understand.
Well, you see, in mud fossil world, things work differently. I think the problem here is, and we'll get to it in a second, is that mud fossil thinks that everything is... Roger here thinks that everything is preserved. And that's fundamentally not how fossilization works. He thinks that when he picks up a rock, it's supposed to have the exact same shape as the creature that was buried.
But
it's just
you don't have to, it doesn't have to have been fossilized for millions of years for you to see, like, you can see tissue decay in your lifetime. You can, like, watch it, like, you could look at a dead animal in the woods and see it decay and see that the skin's gone, you know? I'm very confused.
Well, exactly, and even if it's buried underground and you don't have weathering on the corpse from above ground, you're still going to have things eating it.
Yeah.
It's just a fundamental misunderstanding of basic rules of how this works. But he'll get to that even worse in a moment here.
Oh God.
Not only that, this is a goose.
No, Roger. No.
Roger, this is a goose.
Roger, this is not a goose. Fossilization is not taxidermy. Oh my God. Fossilization does not keep the exact shape of the creature. I have almost no knowledge of how this works. And even I understand that.
It feels like when I was like 5 and I'd see a cool rock and be like, oh my God, it looks like a goose. But then I didn't enter into the education system and learn anything else about reality. It was just like, oh, it looks like a goose, so I guess this is a goose.
Well, exactly. It's like pareidolia to the extreme, right?
Yeah.
Where he sees shapes in objects and just attributes whatever he wants to see into that object. Like, this is just a rock. It's got a line that looks kind of like a beak. It's got a giant forehead, and it therefore is a goose. Well, no, it's just a rock, and if the goose died, that would not be the shape of its skull.
I don't understand. Has he ever been to a museum? Does he think there's a conspiracy as to why these, like, preserved rocks aren't in museums or something?
We'll see. I have heard him say that he is qualified to peer review people because reasons. So...
Peer review unofficially in his bedroom. He's qualified to make notes on.
Oh no, he's very qualified because reasons. So
yeah, I find that, no offense to Roger, I find that slightly hard to believe. I think he's probably as qualified as I am.
My friend Caesar Augustus, and that's his feathers. You see that right there? That's the feather pattern on the back of his head. Now, this is the same thing. This is collagens. Same stuff. You're going to see it in a microscope in a minute. And inside, same thing, basalt. It's because this was bloody. That's where his neck was, right there.
So I have a question here. If the fossil is supposed to be the shape of the creature, why is the back of the head misshapen?
The front of the head is misshapen too.
Well, like... I mean, it is, yeah. Did it just break off? And if that's the case, why is there no remnant? Why are there no remnants of the spine or anything in there? Why is it solid inside with no brain casing, or not brain casing, but why is there no cavity for the brain in there?
Yeah, and
it's just a solid rock.
If it literally becomes solid rock, how do you remove that from the rock around it and identify where the edge of the goose is and where the start of just regular rock is? Or is there no regular rock? Is it all fossil?
That's another fantastic point, yes.
So
are all rocks fossils then?
And that's where his arterial network went up into his head. And this side is flat, just like all these things are flat. Everything I have turned flat after the flood. The same thing that happened to Stonehenge. So I'm going to show you a little closer on this, but we're going to take a look at Stonehenge too. It's the exact same stuff. It was from bodies of creatures, giants. And the heel stone is so obvious, it's unbelievable. Now, once again, 100% of this is coated with feldspar because those are the collagens.
I'm sorry to interrupt, I've got to look up what feldspar is. Okay, feldspars are a group of rock-forming aluminium tectosilicate minerals. It's a type of minerals that form rocks.
Find out if they have anything to do with collagens.
I'm not seeing anything come up.
Oh, gasp! No! My heart!
That could be my poor research skills.
No, it's they. You know it's the they.
Whatever it was, a leg, a finger, I have no clue. But what we're going to do is look above where the skin has peeled off and you can see the interstitium. And here it is right here. You see that? That's what the interstitium looks like. It's a bloody mess.
So now he's pulling a young Earth creationist and saying that blood fossilizes too, I guess. How does one fossilize a liquid?
I can't begin to come up with an explanation.
If he mentions Mary Schweitzer, I'm going to lose my mind. I am legitimately going to lose my mind.
Poor Mary. She doesn't deserve this.
She does not! I feel so bad for her.
It's black and red blood. And that's right below this layer of skin right here. That's what you're going to find, and that's what's in the human body too, as in all creatures. And that is really your protective.
No, not every creature has red blood.
That feels like a fundamental basic, doesn't it?
Why does he think that every creature has red blood? I have a question, Emma.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible, just possible, that Roger doesn't know what he's talking about?
I thought you were going to say, do you think it's possible he's just talking shit to see if anyone will believe him? Because that would be a very hilarious choice. Like, he doesn't believe any of this bullshit. He just talks absolute nonsense to see who he can convince. That would be...
I mean, he's got 160,000 subscribers, so apparently people want to listen.
What? What?
Immunities, right? If it breaks through that layer, that's when it invades you. That layer there is covered with something that's called immunothelium. I named it.
Now we're just... What do you say to that?
Every creature is actually surrounded by a field of emathornium. I named it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I do think you should trademark emathornium, though.
I think so.
that needs to go on merch. You should you should come up with a really, really cool picture.
Yeah. Okay. We'll brainstorm that later.
Anyway, let's get back to the Stonehenge story.
Thank you.
That is what we're looking at right there, is immunothelium, which is the blood tissue just below the feldspar, which is interstitium really, and it's a layer of tissue that's skin or leather, hide, whatever you want to think about it.
How many times is he going to tell us that there's a layer of skin or hide or leather or whatever you want it to be? That's like half of this video so far.
Yeah, but how can it also be feldspar?
I don't know. Do you know what I'm going to do? For the 3 people who know what game I'm talking about, every time he says feldspar, I'm going to put a picture of the character on the screen.
I don't get how it can be skin or leather or hide,
I don't know either.
But it can also be feldspar.
But it's the coating that separates you from the rest of the world. And the same thing with my buddy here, Caesar.
Oh,
the exact
God.
same stuff.
Caesar Augustus.
We'll take a look at it in a microscope. All right, this is a fingertip from one of my smaller giants.
I'm going to require proof for that claim.
You're not going to get it.
You can see the black pattern in there. That's they call that bone black. That's the staining of the distal phalanges. You see what it looks like right there? All right, so that's what we're looking at, is this right here. All right, that's
That one's not even the same shape.
As you can see, that's this. Now,
No, you see, Emma, you have to believe.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
If you squint and turn your head to the left and believe really hard,
You cross your eyes, you think of Jesus, and it all makes sense.
what happens here? The blood comes in. That's the vein, and this is the artery. And I can tell you for a fact that's true.
Really? See, this guy would make an excellent religious prophet, because he just tells you crap with such conviction.
Yeah.
And then people will believe him.
He could probably start a cult if he wanted to, and be
The
moderately
cult-
successful.
Not really successful, just moderately.
Moderately.
On the lower
Yeah,
end.
he'd be like that guy in Australia who says he's Jesus Christ, and he's got like a little bit of a following, but he's not quite culty enough that people are worried about it. He'd be like that.
Roger would be fake Jesus level. This is so bad. Oh
So
my
stupid.
god. What does this even have to do with Stonehenge?
When are we gonna get to Stonehenge? Because that's what I came here for. Keep it together, buddy.
You do need to get some type of merch with Emma Thornium though.
Yeah, I imagine it as like a, like a sort of glowing aura that you can only see or perceive if you've trained your eye, When you reach a certain spirit, it's more like Scientology actually, when you reach a certain spiritual level, when you've sent me enough money, you can identify it.
Yes, you send it to them, but it's like an empty box, and they can only see it if they've watched enough or pledged enough, right?
You open the box and inhale, and then you can perceive the hematoria. Maybe I could start a cult.
Vein side doesn't blow
my
up.
God.
You see there? That's one of the vein spots. That's the other vein spot. All right, they don't blow out. Same thing at the end. The vein does not blow out. The arteries blow right out. See, the artery blew out, artery blew out, artery blew out. Arteries blow out. Veins have clamps. So this is nothing more than the tip of a finger. Now the little pad at the bottom is missing.
How does he know that's not the tip of a toe?
I don't understand what the arteries have blown out. What does that mean in terms of fossilized fingers?
I'll tell you when you're older.
But this is nothing more than, this is one of my small giants. My big giant is 3 feet long.
This is what... Sorry. This is one of my smaller giants. This is one of my little giants. It's about 7 foot. So that just, as a phrase, that just tickled me.
Let's take a look at that. All right, don't forget this spot here. Very rarely do you see this. These are the pads in between the bones so they don't rock. And this is disassociated fingers been ripped open, I believe. You see this? This was when it first came out of the ground. It was still nice and black stained. And I had this brush here that has metal fibers in it. And as you can see, they do the same thing. The black bleeds out from iron.
That's called dirt, Roger.
So he's got a brush that does the same thing as a finger fossil. Is that what he said? Did I misunderstand that?
He dug his fossil, quote unquote, out of the ground, and the dirt is coming off of it. And this is an amazing discovery. I mean, what do you say to that?
What do you say?
It's just a dirty rock!
It's just a dirty rock. Oh, Roger.
Iron is in blood. These are the vein and the artery, remember the holes? Now you see this? Look at this right here. That's the actual tip of the finger, where the bone was. The rest of this is all tissue around it. And the bone inside, that's the bone black that has eroded out, well, emitted out through there and stained the surface.
Emitted?
And this is the apical tuft. I have one around here.
I don't think that means what he thinks
This
it
is
means.
the apical tuft. This sits right on the tip of your finger, and there's a whole ton of these little balls.
I've got some cool rocks. I collect hagstones. I don't know why. I just like them. Look, what body part is this? It's got a little eye. Actually, that could be a little, like, duck head.
Well, if I put my Roger goggles on,
Yes. Tell me
Okay.
what you see.
I see a vertebrae. I see a vertebrae with a hole for the spinal nerves to move up through. There's also a whole lot of holes for bullshit to move forward or backward, however you need it to fill the whole thing out.
Yeah. We fill all the holes with bullshit.
In this, and all those straps run down, and that makes your finger be able to do all kinds of stuff. I have the hand, I have all kinds of fingers, knuckles, all kinds of things.
You know, out of context, that sounds really terrifying.
I have all kinds of fingers. I got hands and everything.
No, I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, but this was another fingertip from this same hand. And this fingertip was complete, absolutely totally complete. And that was DNA tested, CAT scanned, and everything else. And here it is right here. Oh.
I demand proof of who DNA tested or CAT scanned that.
How do you CAT scan a rock? What does that achieve? I'm getting so confused. It was DNA tested. And they were like, yeah, it's a rock. And he was like, I knew it.
And if you get it in the right light, you can actually see where the fingernail was. Underneath here, these are the same pads like you have underneath your finger. And right up there is where the apical tuft is. And this one's still here. All right, this is the one that has, if you could look and see, there's all kind of straps running off from this ball. And this is your apical tuft. The vein and artery are back here, and the bone is offset, so I think it's a thumb. Usually when the bone's offset, it's your thumb. Oh. I broke this off to see if I could get some good blood out of here, but this appears to be the...
Oh my god. Roger is literally trying to get blood from a stone.
Yeah!
He's living his life by a saying that means that something is impossible. And he's doing it anyway. Good on you, Roger.
The vein side real black, and this would be the artery side. You see, and you can see red coming out of this side. But the holes didn't open up.
So what I'm wondering is, if he's got this thumb with arterial blood coming out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And he broke it off to try to get blood out of it and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Why does he not go for the holes? And I just realized that sounded but it all I'm so sorry. But in all seriousness, right? He said earlier that the arterial holes were blown out.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of holes there.
Yeah.
So how do you tell the difference between an arterial gouge and this just keeps getting worse. I'm just gonna.
Because somewhere else it allowed it to drain,
the sixth
probably
sense,
through
the
this
mud
one
fossil
here,
sense.
which
That's
this
the
looks
only
like it
way.
might have been from a little fingertip or something, but they drain out right out of those holes.
See? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Maybe
So
the little holes are just too small.
But
He only likes big holes. Roger's only interested in a wide hole, I'm afraid.
He likes. I know you can't put that in there, but fuck.
This is a family-friendly show. Do you know what? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it in and I'm going to beep it out and people are going to guess what you said.
No, but really, how does he tell which one is a hole for an artery and which one it's not? That other fossil, quote unquote, is littered with holes.
Yeah.
He's been saying this the entire time. He just ignores all of the holes in the left rock.
Yeah.
And then he immediately picks this one up and is like, oh, well, look, these are holes for arteries right here. You can see where the blood came out. Okay, well, why are the other ones? There's no tests at all that we can use. He's just
no tests.
deciding
We've had
on the
blood
fly.
tests. We've had CAT scans. Excuse
Oh,
me.
I'm sorry. I correct my error. I withdraw my comment from the record.
No, but legit, he's just selecting the things that match what he thinks is going on already. He's just cherry picking holes on rocks. Like, it's easy to do when you're like entirely relying on your own perception instead of
entirely
testing.
arbitrary.
Yeah, it's totally arbitrary.
I have so much of this stuff. It's just hard to believe, but it's true. Let me show you the bigger one.
It is hard to believe.
This is only.
It is hard to believe. Yes, Roger.
50 feet tall. The other one is at least 3 times or more than this, if they're anatomically correct. And as far as I can tell, they are. Everything I found is. It's exactly like this on a human being, only a smidge bigger.
And he doesn't realize that's a problem because things don't fossilize exactly how it would be on a living creature.
I also, because as I understand it, the things that he finds are like giants and stuff, right? Like this is, the finger of a giant. How does he know
Not
what?
all of them. We
Not
got a
all
goose.
of them. Of course, sometimes it's just a goose. Sometimes it's just a really big goose. It's just a goose with a really fucking big head. But, like, if it's, you know, supposed to be a giant or something, how does he know what's anatomically correct? He doesn't have, like, a reference for what size a giant's fingers are supposed to be. Or maybe he does. Maybe I'm wrong.
I guess he just scales it up and thinks it would be exactly the same.
It's just like control dragging the corner of a picture of a human. That's how you make a giant.
But we're also talking about a guy that thinks that fish can be the size of continents.
All right, I have the whole hand for this one. And I believe this was probably right in the same area. This is eroded and all the blood drained out of it and everything, as I showed you. This was the bone ball right here. You see that? That's the bone ball right at your knuckle, I believe. And this is all red, bloody tissue that ran for the muscles. This was the tendon.
But it's not. It's rock. It's not bloody tissue. It's just a piece of rock. This is like making me more sad as it goes on. I'm feeling emotionally drained.
I'm starting to doubt Roger, though, because he's starting to not speak in 100% confidence intervals. He's just saying he thinks or he's pretty sure. I want confidence, damn it. I'm starting to doubt in Roger, and this is not okay.
That's not how you maintain a cult.
And everything ran off, and the blood at the tip of the finger ran out. This was somewhere else in this creature's body, I'm pretty sure. This is the one I showed you. The bone was over here, and all the blood and all that stuff. And tendons are a little different, and bones are a little different. But you can see, obviously, that's the bone ball. And this is the red, fleshy stuff. And this is the tendon. It's tough as hell. All right, now this right here. Any good anatomist, you could look at an anatomy book, you can see it. This is the abrupt transition.
I have to know if anatomist is a word. Okay, it is. An expert in anatomy is called an anatomist. Well, I've learned something today.
You learned something from Roger.
I learned something from Google.
Okay.
That's a long-winded side effect of Roger. Yeah.
Muscle wraps around the bone ball. All right, so you have the bone ball here. The muscle is wrapped around it over here. It's eroded on this side, so we've got a perfect spot.
See, now we have a new wrinkle in the lore, because we know that at least muscle can be eroded.
Yeah.
So we have established that mud fossils can have their shape changed.
Yeah, so how... Doesn't that throw a wrench in the entire thing? If it can erode?
I would think so, especially considering he just said a minute ago that all of these things he's found are anatomically correct.
Yeah, except for when he can tell that, like, a finger has eroded away or something?
Because he's Roger.
I'm so confused.
He has the Roger sense.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot for a second.
Patent pending.
Now this is where the bone came down, it's broken off. This is the muscle weave that wrapped around the bone. This right here is one of these. Comes right down the side.
This is
right
one
like
of
that.
these.
That's the tendon with the abrupt transition. That little rump.
Me about this video.
This is one of these.
It's one of these.
So this, I believe, was died laying like this here, I don't know, whatever. Probably like this. And the blood ran out of it. And this might have been somewhere, I don't know. This is a big creature. This all came right from the same spot. And I have his toes in there. Well, I have one toe. And, I mean, it's just, what it is what it is. Now,
you know what would be awkward is if he picked up a piece of concrete and thought it was a mud fossil.
Yeah. I got this all from the same place, the building site down the street. Amazing. Giants live right on my doorstep.
Yeah, he gets like a brick and it's just broken off at a weird angle and he's like, oh, you can see this is a fort and all sort of stuff. But what I was going to say is this piece here, if I'm going to put on my Roger glasses, it actually looks like a foot. I don't know why he thinks it's a hand with Roger vision.
Yeah. I don't know how you could... I don't know. I just don't know. Something that I am struggling with that probably doesn't factor into Roger's thought is like, if this is a giant, what was the pathway that giants evolved from? Like, did they evolve the same way humans did? From like, do we share ancestors with great apes? In which case, would they be like... Should they be more like Sasquatch, is what I'm saying. Should they be like Sasquatch hands rather than like human hands?
Well, you see, giants would have been their same own kind, okay?
Oh, God. I shouldn't have brought it up.
I'm starting to wonder if it's best not to ask questions.
Yeah, we got a lot more questions than answers here, it turns out.
Trust in the guru, Emma.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
What it is what it is. Now, if I can have somebody confront me and say, no, Roger, you're not right, that can't be. Well, let's talk about it. That's all. All right, where do you see the big fingertip?
What? Did he just go, if I had somebody confront me and be like, oh, that can't be right, we'll talk about it. Was that just an invitation to come chat? Like, what was that?
We also got a rare glimpse of Roger's true form there.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
you got that.
And just that tiny glimpse is exactly what I would expect.
It's like in the Bible where it says, "No person has seen the Lord's face and lived to tell the tale." He didn't want to. He didn't want to grace us with his true face, otherwise we'd all just fall over dead.
Well, let's talk about it. That's all. All right, where do you see the big fingertip? This is just all little puppy stuff.
Oh, wait till we see it. I can't wait. I love that as well. Like, of course he's got really thick spectacles. As somebody who, like, looks intently at small images and rocks for a living, of course he's... Like, I mean, we can't talk as glasses people, but it's just... The one glimpse of him you see is really fucking thick lenses. It's just very funny to me.
Somehow it's like he's kind of disappointingly plain, but also exactly what you'd expect.
Yes, yeah.
You sort of wish he looked like a mad scientist, but at the same time, he's just like some grandpa.
When I listen to him, I imagine like skinny Santa Claus. That's what I see, like wiry Santa who's sort of gaunt, but he's still got the big beard, and that's what I imagine.
It's just like at Stonehenge. The tips of the toes and the tips of the fingers is the same. One side is an artery, one side the vein. The artery pumps the blood out, the vein sucks it back. And here it is right here. This is the artery side. All of them open because it's dyed laying like this. This is the blood supply. The vein is a whole different story. The vein side clamps off it. Vein cannot go backwards in your body.
What does that mean?
What? Veins can't go backwards in your body. I'm gonna look like such an idiot if the Secret Service is ever looking at my search history. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this idiot looking for? I mean, your blood can only flow one way through your veins, or it should only flow one way unless you've got broken veins. I don't know what... The veins don't go... Maybe that's what you meant.
And this was that fingertip from the smaller giant. And this was DNA tested.
Another small giant.
The hand itself was DNA tested. I'll show you the hand. And but these are all the fingers and the bones. I'm showing you all that stuff. I mean,
I'll show you the hand, he says, and then he just like flicks off the camera.
You just fucking bitch slaps it. I'll show you the hand. I will show you the hand.
it just wasn't laying there for no reason. And every bit of it has feldspar. This is pretty much eroded down. Most of the feldspar is gone. It's turned into what they call mud rock. That can happen. Absolutely. We'll take a look at it in a microscope. But primarily, this is from the gigantic fingertip. And this is actually the fingerprints. Wait till I show you this in a microscope. This is actually the thickness of the guy's finger.
So is that not the fingers then?
I guess this is a piece? He said this is a piece?
I gotta learn to stop asking questions.
It's okay. We still have the goose over there.
Yeah,
so
thank goodness for the goose. As long as the goose is here, I'm okay.
It'll be all right. The goose will protect us from Roger.
Augustus, yeah. Caesar Augustus.
Skin. Huge. Well, we'll look at it.
It'll be huge. Those fossils are tremendous. They're really bigly fossils, believe me.
Except for the fucking small giants.
Remember, I showed you before. There's a little pad that goes right behind every finger.
I'm sorry. I have to point out that the file name is Fingernail Shot of Giant Finger. That is so old man yells at cloud level file naming.
You know, Ringo did all that, like, MS Paint art. Have you ever seen
No.
Ringo's MS Paint art? Oh, it's fucking, I'll have to send you some. It's very funny. I mean, it's a creative endeavor. He did it when he was on tour. But all of the things when he's talking about it, it's an interview, and he's like, oh, you know, if it's like a picture of a man in a hat, I'd call it Man in Hat, because on computer you have to name it something. That's the vibe I get from Roger.
So that you can rock on it. That's the pad. You see it? And these pads are at Stonehenge too. Here's the vein and the artery coming in. This is actually literally the finger nail. Now, all of this stuff on the surface is all collagen. It's all collagen. And that turns into feldspar. All of it is feldspar. So,
Wait a second. He just said it's all collagen. Back-to-back sentences. He said it's all collagen, and then it all turns into feldspar. It's all feldspar.
I'm Googling it again. The only thing that comes up if you look up collagen and feldspar together is like, drinking collagen has health benefits, but don't put it in coffee.
This is a basic fundamental rule of our universe. Is one thing can't be two different things at the same time.
This is all collagen, which
like,
is feldspar.
Water can't be water and also be lava at the same time. I guess the only way I should qualify that is by saying if you're going to go into the quantum level, I understand there's weird rules at the very small level like that, but
Sure, yeah.
yeah, you're not going to have something that is both collagen and feldspar.
No.
Why does he try to have it both ways and not see the problem?
I don't understand. Well, things can
He's
also
got
things
to
can
be
be
trolling.
skin and leather, so I don't know. Anything
He's
can
got
be
to be
anything.
trolling.
I would love it if he was trolling, and if, like, you know, on his deathbed he releases his memoirs. It's like, I fucking tricked 160,000 people and it was hysterical.
And I paid off all of my grandkids' college.
I would love that. That's the happy ending of this story.
All I did was point at rocks with a feather.
Thank you, lovely people, so much for watching. I will just remind you once again that you can see more of us reacting to Mudfossil University over on Willow's channel. Do go and check that out. Do give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts down below. Before we go, I would like to give a big thank you and a shout out to my giant chickens over on Patreon. Okay guys, have yourselves a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.